everyone. Welcome to Work Love Wednesday. Samm and Smelter here for Work Love Wednesday. It is time for Work Love Wednesday. All right, let's try this again. We're having connection issues here with Facebook, and once again, when you're going live, you can't control that. I am sitting in a new place, but I don't think that internet should be an issue because I'm actually closer to the router. Although I am right next to the office water feature, which that may pose a problem. So hopefully I've moved the mic closer so that you can hear me. If you hop on and you can't hear, please let me know. But anyways, before I got cut off the last time, I was trying to share with you that this week's Work Love Wednesday is a little bit different because this week I'm making a call to action because I need some help. I really have been trying to take my time on my growth journey and not trying to rush things, making sure that they're intentional, that I'm making the most of the exercises and things that I'm doing for my growth and not just rushing to check things off a list. Because I think for a long time, that's what I was doing. And I think that was necessary during those times because it was just important for me to have the sense of accomplishment. And I was picking up little nuggets of wisdoms along the way. Now, a lot of my growth is on a deeper dive level. And so when I really invest into an activity or a new kind of growth area, I really want to immerse myself and make sure that I'm fully present in generating those outcomes. And that's kind of where I am right now. But before I make my ask, let me just back up a little bit and share with you how I kind of got to this point. So this is not a secret. I share this a lot, whether I'm meeting with people one-on-one, it comes out through a lot of these episodes, but I am a healer. I am someone who likes to serve people. That's why I'm in the people business. I also spent close to it's over a decade in service of working with people, helping people throughout the HR profession and beyond. And as a result, always put myself last, absolutely last. Everyone else's satisfaction, everyone else's dreams, everyone else's potential was always higher ranking than myself. As a result, I kind of just did what I could to survive, whether that was using things to numb myself, to disassociate with my body, all those kinds of things that we've talked about along the way that I've slowly been trying to undo. Because I was in the survival mode and putting myself last, I have massive kind of cleaning up to do, whether it's from detoxing or cleansing or restorative kind of work, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. All of those things are kind of all over the place. I have progress. I've been working really hard over the last 5 years, but it doesn't undo 30 years of junk, of basically abusing myself and myself completely and not fully respecting myself and not believing that I was worthy of that. So 30 plus years of putting others first is a really hard habit to break. On top of that, there are relationships and things that are established as a result of those 30 plus years of habits. And there's some relationships that you kind of outgrow. And I've talked about those before, how people come and go, and as energies shift, it happens. And I kind of have come to terms with that and realized that that's part of the evolution. There are certain relationships that you can't outgrow. They're kind of very stationary. They're very much a part of who you are. Not stationary. They're just like standard. They're set there. Or are they really? I guess I could question that. But they are, the intent is that they are permanent and that you've committed to those individuals for the rest of your lives. That could be really close friendships. That could be an intimate relationship like your marriage. And so those things, when you start to establish boundaries to put in place to take care of yourself, it's an interesting dynamic for everyone involved. And for me, with those relationships, I think it's really important for me to have interactive discussions and not just set a boundary and hold to it, which you certainly can. However, in these relationships that I am fully committed to and believe that I want them to be around for the long haul, it is a collaborative effort. Now, it's a collaborative effort with me always keeping in check what I need, that I don't end up basically going through negotiations and ending up with another boundary that puts other people in front of me. So, and I've talked a lot about this whole concept of meeting people halfway and 50-50, and that's where that all kinds of comes into place. So I've set boundaries. Let me just put that, like, big boundaries, like from a grander perspective of just the priorities of life and what's important to me. And for the last 5 years, those have kind of been my guiding principles, which has caused me to run into a lot of different obstacles and learning opportunities that I've been navigating. Now, the crossroads that I find myself at right now is that I need almost, and I've been teaching this in my college course, I need some SMART goals, some very specific things to make these boundaries come to life, specifically around the professional arena. So what do I mean? Scheduling clients. I have had the mentality for a long time, and I think this comes from actually working HR and retail, where or in healthcare, where things just never sleep. This rule about 24 hours response, it's taken me a long time to get used to that and even go beyond that, because for a large part of my life, career-wise, you know, the urgency was there. The sooner I could get a hold of somebody, the sooner I could address something. And I prided myself on having those relationships where I would connect with people very quickly. And so that's kind of carried over into my entrepreneurial journey, which means that when you call, I pretty much will call back very quickly. And I've worked really hard on that, to release that, to know that the work that I'm doing, there are aspects that are urgent, but for the most part, it's not. And it's not going to hurt the client if I am not responding within a 10-minute period. 24-hour window is very respectable to respond to an email or phone call and acknowledge it. So those things I have been working on very loosely. But when someone calls and they want to see me or meet with me and I have a block open on my calendar, I have openly just said yes. And when that happens, it sends big ripples into the boundaries I'm establishing around self-care. Things like my Qigong practice that I do on a daily basis. We talked about during the summer how it kind of disappeared. And that's because I let my schedule get really wonky. And that's talking about just from a personal aspect, because personal and professional are this kind of balance that happen, especially as someone that's an entrepreneur. You know, when you go someplace and you work, you might have the ability to separate them into containers. When your work is driven by the effort that you do all different hours of the day, that your business basically is going to be made or broken based off of the decisions that you make every moment of the day, that line gets really blurred. And so as an entrepreneur, wife, mother, part-time, adjunct instructor, I have all these several hats that I'm trying to balance and shove. And there's all these different buckets of people that can call me at any given time. Like my children, if my children are sick, this has always been, and this will be true if you ever have an appointment with me and my child is sick. If my child needs me, I am there. So there's only very few circumstances where that might not be the case. But But for the most part, I know what it's like when you're sick and you want to be around your mommy, and so I'm there. For the most part, I will clear my day, or I'll ask if you can meet with me at the office so that they can be in our kitty room that I shared on the newsletter a couple months ago. But for the most part, that's just kind of something that I've done. You know, kids come first, and, you know, part of being an entrepreneur, I can do that. I have that ability and that flexibility, and I can prioritize accordingly like I need to. So those things are coming to play. But what I am looking for and what I am seeking and working on right now is specific boundaries around my work, my physical work-life balance. What I mean by that is like how my days are broken up. And I think I'm more so looking for professional boundaries that maybe you have set for yourself as a practitioner, like when do you take phone calls? When do you check email? How many, if you do coaching or individual meetings with clients, how many do you do a week? If you're in the fitness world, how many classes do you teach a week? Because we're starting to do Qigong classes and Yin Yoga classes, and those are picking up. So I have those nights. You know, what kind of parameters, I guess more so during the week, do you put in place that allow you to function at your best? Because the challenge that I'm having is I know that there's certain things that I have to have. I have to have some sort of daily routine. It doesn't have to be every morning. It doesn't have to be every afternoon or every evening. But there are certain things that I need to do on a daily basis for me to operate at my best. And I truly believe as I grow and I deepen in the work that I do, that daily routine is probably going to grow. I've shared this a couple of times, but Gabby Bernstein, she just released a book yesterday. She had a phenomenal launch. Her brand new book is called Super Attractor, which is basically, if you believe at all in the, I'm missing the concept for manifesting. The Secret, there you go, The Secret, the book The Secret that was out that everyone was obsessed with. There was a documentary. If you believe in that aspect of things, Super Attractor is going to be right up your alley. So check that out on Amazon by Gabrielle Bernstein. But Gabby, and the way that her work has grown, she has very intense daily practices that she needs to have to be connected, to feel like she's able to do the work that she's meant to do. And one of the things that I love about Qigong, which is for me, is that in the world of Qigong, that daily practice is essential for me to treat individuals that are coming in, to work with them, but also to heal myself. And at the root of all of this is, and I think this is true for any of us, to reach our full potential, to maximize the amount of possibilities that are waiting for us out there, we have to take care of ourselves. And so all the work that I'm doing and all the growth that I'm doing, you know, people are fascinated by all the different things that I get intrigued by or I'm working on, and it seems like so much, but it's all driven by the growth that I need, the healing that I need, so that I can be the best person that I am. A lot of the stuff right now is restorative, about returning me back to my pure self. That's because that's what I need right now. As I was just talking about, 30 years of junk, in 5 years, I'm reaching out desperately, looking for these things to help heal all the damage that I've done. Yes, I've learned some really cool lessons along the way. I wouldn't change a thing about those 30 years. But I'm ready for that next step. I'm ready for that next evolution. And for that, I need to have this restorative healing process that occurs. So with that, I'm looking to put some very standard, not complex boundaries in place. And I know people have them. Like I was just at the doctor's office yesterday, and I know physicians are awesome at this, that they set some really solid parameters about when they're going to see patients. How many patients, I know if you work for a large healthcare organization, you may not be able to control this. And then sometimes there's the financial component. But in an ideal world, if you wanted to show up at your best and take care of the patients in the best way, how many would that be? Right now I'm playing with the idea that 2 is my sweet spot, maybe 3. But do I isolate that down to 1 or 2 days a week so that I have other days to focus on other things? Entrepreneurs, practitioners, I want to hear, what are some practices that you've put in place that really work well for you, that you think help you show up at your best? And I want to do basically a boundary brainstorm, and it's more of a specific boundary level. So we've talked about these large kind of boundaries, things that keep us on track to know that we're connected to something bigger. But we also have to have the SMART aspect. And if you don't know SMART, the SMART acronym stands for S, specific. So specifically, what am I doing? M, is it measurable? So how do I know that I'm on track? A, is it attainable and achievable? So is it realistic? R is, I think, realistic. They kind of tie together. And then T is timely. So what's the time frame that's on that? So this week I'm seeking commentary. You can comment on the on Facebook in the comments section, obviously. You can email me at samm@leadershipisart.com. And let me know your thoughts. And then if I see any really cool ones, I'll share them with you guys next week. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not going to lie, this week has been challenging. There's been a lot of things that have been coming up. Yesterday was a really tough day for me. This morning, getting off to like a rough start. And I feel like yesterday was kind of a setback for me. I spent most of the day trying to stay present in the moment of everything that was happening. But it was just one of those days where things just kept piling up on top of each other. And when you thought that there couldn't be anything else, something else would hit. So, so that's my 2 cents for today. I'm kind of flipping the script a little bit. I hope something in here might serve you, but I'm hoping that you have something that serves the rest of us and you're willing to share. So have a great Wednesday. I will talk to you next week. Bye.